Do it. Hey, welcome to another show of Tampa Fishing Outfitters Live Fishing Report. Captain Rick Laws here with Captain Jason Prieto.
What's going on, boys? We try to run this deal, see what happens.
Jason's got it rolling.
We're going to see, man.
We're going to talk some fishing. I think we're all set up.
I think we're rolling. Everybody give us the we're getting claps on the screen here.
If you can see us and hear us, might give us a
please
thumbs
let us
up.
know, man. I'm getting hard over here. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I'm working.
No doubt. So anyway, hey man, let's talk some fishing.
We are, man. It's been the brakes have been put on business for us a little bit. We've been doing a little bit of internet crap and had to buy things again. I don't even put this thanks out to Power Pole.
They hooked you up.
Once again, I had a cylinder was leaking a little bit. I took it up there, put the text out. They said bring it on down, rolled out red carpet, backed the boat in, picked it up on the way here, ready to roll.
And we need to give an anti-thanks to the weather because the weather's cost me 3 trips.
Yeah, it's been.
Well, I take that back. The weather's cost me 2 trips, and last week the water pump malfunction was 1 trip. Yeah, the weather took me to the water Sunday and Monday. So, thanks, Mother Nature.
Yeah, I lost Sunday too, and it's what it is, Rick. It's part of. But man, you never used to losing money.
Never get used to that.
I've never been able to act and
No.
be okay with that. I mean, it just never comes across very well.
No, today was a beautiful day, and I sat at home.
I know.
Nobody want to fish
It's
today.
a little chilly this morning.
I don't care about that.
But
water temp's okay. So, yeah, fishing. The last time that I fished was Saturday, and I know you fished Saturday. We fished totally different realms there. I was charter fishing, tournament fishing. So
yes, we had the Florida Pro this past week.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I don't want to.
No, I was just going to say fishing for me was good. Caught a lot of trout. Good size for fish fry, not the real big ones that are your baby makers that you hate to keep. We caught nothing over 20 every trout we caught except for one that was keeper. We had one that was about 15 and a quarter, and then everything else was that beautiful 17, 19.
Trout fishing. Tell you what, it's rebounded a little bit this year.
Perfect size to keep, and that was good. Caught a lot of runts too, which is good. I mean, I always like the 13, 14-inch fish mixed in with the ones you keep. But it was a good day on the water. A couple junior anglers that did very well. One of them did. The other one kind of more interested in swimming than fishing, but it was fun, good group, and left me wanting to fish Sunday, but the winds and everything just didn't let it happen. So
yeah, man, I woke up Sunday and it just, I had a customer that didn't call me back, and I didn't charge him. Probably should have, but I knew I was calling to see if I can reschedule him. And I had a credit card. I don't know what his deal was, but I just told my wife, I said, I should charge this guy. And I said, I was going to cancel anyway.
Karma, you did the right thing with Karma.
Yeah, but it was aggravating me because I was calling to cancel, move, and he didn't.
Right.
He was ignoring my call for whatever reason. I had a credit card. I just going to cancel anyways. But, it's been, I tell you, man, March and April, we're still getting cold. We're getting blasted. I mean, like it's
snow.
not like one
They're
every
getting
once.
Snow north, brother. We're good.
It's no, but I'm saying for our March. I listen. I'm perfectly fine with it. I expect it to be cold February and January.
Okay, keep going, keep rolling.
I expect it to be. If we ain't got one failing, the other one does.
I know. Keep rolling.
Jesus.
Those we're probably still on.
Yeah, we are. That was actually the Peter film. But going into March I expect some cold fronts. April I really expect not a whole lot of cold fronts.
Right.
Like that's
especially not later in April. When you get to the end of April, you don't expect that. So
yeah, so it's it's been a little bit of a battle with the weather, but there's Manny talked about this this year. We said, man, it's just no normal winter anymore.
Don't seem to be.
I mean, it's
or at least the last couple.
And I've even mentioned it to customers, and they say the same deal. So, I don't know. It goes in patterns. It just seems like when I started guiding, the weather was a little bit more pattern-like. I mean, you knew when it was cold, and you had oddball cold fronts, but we have oddball cold fronts a lot. So I don't know. Maybe it's me, but
because you probably pay attention
a little
to
less
different things back then than you do now.
I would agree. It's frustrating when you work hard to get business and then you can't run business because of weather, but it's just part of the game. And I can tell you, if you don't guide for a living, there's one thing you hear is consistently complain about on the show is weather.
Right.
And it's just you don't get used to it when guiding. Been in the business 14 years, both of us. We started about the same time, and I still ain't got used to losing mine.
Either. No.
It just don't go across good. But I tell you, I'm curious to see how this affects our tarpon fishing because it's right around the corner.
Right.
And we're still getting these fronts and water temperatures. Water's still in the 70s. But I'm curious to see how it all plays out this year. The last couple of years, it's been different.
It'll be really nice. And saying this, I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do. But it would be really nice if I had a job that wasn't dependent on Mother Nature.
Yes. If
it could be just, a little variable's fine, but we get a wide range of stuff. So it is what it is. Can you roll that up where we can see some cuts in case?
I don't know. This thing froze up. Ran more trips in bad weather this year, and I will tell you, it's thanks to. It has been thanks to. Is that us right there? Yeah, it is. We're right at the top.
Roll this side. Should be sitting right over here, on this side.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. You got me lost, but
I don't
know. It's been ran in bad weather, and it's been thanks to. Been thanks a lot to the network of guys. Like we get on one boat, bait in bad conditions. Right. We work together a little bit more. So honestly, in March, if you get bait, more than likely you can fish. It's just, and I tell customers, the wind almost don't matter to a certain extent. Especially with me, I run a 26-foot boat. I can run to cockroach in just about anything. It might be a little bumpy.
Well, I tell you what you say about us working together, and we do. If I was just the recreational angler, I would join up a fishing club somewhere, and I would meet me a couple guys that I got along well with, and on days that I was going to fish, that I knew they were going to fish, I would try to work with them, sort of in the same, capacity that we work together for safety. I mean, there's times that we go out, and if you are recreational and don't have that buddy you're fishing with, and when I'm talking about maybe even in another boat, we depend on each other a lot of times for safety when it comes to catching bait and that
Absolutely.
kind of thing. Or we run some of these corporate events where we have to run across the bay, and usually in the morning it's not bad, but when we run across the bay to get home, sometimes it's not good, and we kind of train our way back home with several boats just in case something happens, somebody, anything can happen. So as a recreational angler, and if you don't have that go-to call guy or whatever, man, you might want to get one.
Yeah,
But,
and the other thing
can't
too,
hurt.
another benefit, we're seeing a rise on fuel prices. You know what? You get buddies, and you guys rotate boats. Whose boat you take?
Put your boat in.
Rotate
leave
the fuel
everything
cost.
anchored,
It
and
makes
go
it
get
cheap.
your-
I mean,
go
there's
get
a lot of benefits to having some fishing buddies. I had just a few. A lot of my high school buddies didn't do a lot of fishing, and the one in particular, Will. I kind of got him in saltwater fishing. I grew up doing it, but it's a lot of times where I was fishing on my own. Like fortunately, fuel a lot cheaper. I mean, $20 gets you to the ramp, out there, and back, and maybe even a cheeseburger at McDonald's on the way home or something. So that just doesn't happen anymore. So it's good to get and one thing I will stress: a good small network of buddies. You don't want 40 different people taking to your spots.
Right.
We've seen this happen
over
the
years. You
years.
go get bait with your buddies, and then you come back, everybody gets in their own boats.
Yeah. Or go have a small network. That's what we did, a small network of friends that went. And
hey, I've been networking with Jason for 10 years. I still don't know where he fishes.
I don't know where I fish half the time. Just ask where I was yesterday. I'm the worst person. I know where. I mean, for everybody being with me, I know where I'm going. I just don't know the names of the places.
Yeah, he
I'm
don't.
going.
That's for
but
sure.
it's better than knowing names, but not knowing where they are.
Yeah, we don't know the names.
I get them mixed up. You could tell me 20 times, and I get mixed up. I know where I'm going. But
that's good advice by Manuel right there. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a buddy boat system, especially single guys running offshore. Because you need to really have an EPIRB. There's a bunch of inexpensive options for offshore, even inshore. With the winds we're dealing with in the spring, you always read about people dying on the water every year. It's more common, and I know it's boring for us to talk about safety and different equipment that we see out there, but guys, it happens. I mean, you really. That's the last thing that people look at when buy a boat.
Nobody thinks they're going to die.
No.
I mean, when they're on the water, they just don't.
And we hope that you don't. I don't want anybody.
Right.
But I think you take the right precautions. And safety should be high on the list. But, it's having get bait on the deep water. Tampa Bay is the roughest areas. Now you guys, boat builder,
shallow water bay.
The ongoing joke in a boat builder and some of the custom shops, if they make a boat last in Tampa Bay, it'll last anywhere.
Yeah.
Because it's nasty, it's rough, it's shallow. You got current mixed with a 25-mile long bay. Get a north end at the south end of the bay.
Right.
Bad news. It's really bad news, and I don't care how big your boat is. And falling in the water early in the season.
Water's powerful.
Yeah, and it's dangerous. So it's a good system to have the buddy boat. We put as guides. I think it's very important for sure. But
well, tonight we got some product that we dug out off the shelves, and we figured we would talk a little bit about tournament, because Jason just fished Florida Pro-Am, and a little bit of redfish tournament fishing info.
I'm a little butthurt about that tournament.
Bring us up. You can't win them all, brother. Let him bring us up to speed.
You know who's
going to
fly, though.
Well, I know that. But and then I went and picked out some stuff because, and I said it last week, the mackerel bite has gone rampant. It is off the chart right now. So,
and that's you're a good mackerel fisherman. You and Dan. You and Danny are good mackerel fish. You guys,
dude, there ain't nothing special about it.
But you're good at it.
Well,
there's nothing special about a lot of stuff we do, but
it's just going after them. But it's a pretty dumbed down fishing, and maybe that's why I like to do it. But the mackerel bite's good, and not everybody does it with live bait. I got some artificials I dug out, and show you some quick stuff on that. Tell us if you're there and you do mackerel fish. Tell us what you use, if you don't mind sharing it. It's some kind of family secret, but I'll go ahead and tell you this is. I brought this spoon here because this is. We was going to talk a little bit.
Danny'd be so happy right now if he's watching.
About spoons. This is. I don't like the spoons with the treble hook, only because I think these were just as good single hook,
especially with mackerel.
And you don't have to be any fish. You don't have to be deal with those other two.
They really do a lot of damage to the fish.
But with mackerel, right? With mackerel, this is you're gonna usually keep every mackerel you get. So because I've never caught one that wasn't 12 inches long. That's the legal limit. I've never caught one that wasn't 12. But so. These will work. These will work good. I don't really like these for trout and fish. I know they work. I don't like that extra hooks there. This is mackerel Slayer right here, but this can be a very expensive endeavor. You take a tackle box full of these to mackerel fish.
Tampa Fishing Outfitters like it, by the way.
Yeah, they want to sell you a ton of these. This is the 3/4 ounce, but there's a half ounce actually better. So if you're going to do that, and the reason this is fun is because it's just nonstop. You can just get up there and make it rain. But if you're going to use these, which is fun, a lot more fun live bait, get you some of these.
Yeah.
Or you're going to empty your wallet and lose a bunch of those. So the great combination.
Capt and Rick.
Yeah, this is these are the 12-inch, 20-pound test water leaders. It's got the swivel and the place for you to just a little open. You can hook it on. I don't know actually what that little thing's called, but hook it on your spoon. And would not suggest these for anything other than that, because trying to put a live bait under one of these ain't gonna work. But anyway, that's good stuff, mackerel, and also this gotcha right here. This is, I think they make 3 different sizes.
I've never used them.
This thing here, I'm telling you.
Is it like top water?
No, it ain't top water.
I've never used it.
Really? But you can throw this thing.
I feel like a dink.
You could probably throw this thing, if you had a light line, you could probably throw it to the stadium from here. I'm telling you, these things will fly. And personally, what I do is I take that front hook off. I do everything with a treble hook. I never use 2 treble hooks, but take that front hook off, use the back hook only, and you can seriously, you can throw this thing 100 yards.
Wow.
I'm serious. It goes forever.
Is it just because of the torpedo shape of it?
And it's heavy. Feel it. It's heavy.
Yeah, I guess it. Wow.
So, and the next up,
does it sink? So it
sinks. It sinks. So you gotta.
That's a lead right now. I've never used it.
You gotta give it a pretty consistent reel on the way in.
Looks like it took a pin apart. Like
it does, but it's got a wobble to it, and they love it. So anyway, the gotchas, and they don't have the prices on them, so I can't tell you what they're.
Yeah, they're $3-4.
Yeah, they're not
maybe
expensive.
$4-5 now.
But even with these, you want to get some of these because
common denominator leader.
That's right.
And you don't have to buy the pre-mades.
They got all stuff here to make.
Yeah, you can make them.
Yeah.
I tell you what I hate is making leader. How many times you put that leader through your finger?
Oh yeah.
Oh
nice.
God, my fingers are raw.
Yeah.
I don't do much fishing anymore just because I know how to do it, and it's cool. But it's a long run from where we are, and I was charging more offering it, and with the weather, and I said, not gonna do it anymore. So I if somebody requests that, I do it. But yeah, you can pre-make them, but these made ones are they're gonna work just as good. That's information, Rick, because sometimes we tend on the show to skip over the simple stuff.
Right.
But the simple stuff sometimes is what people need.
Yes.
And if somebody's going to talk about the simple stuff,
I'll always
Capt Rick is the person to talk about simple stuff.
I am your simple guy.
He is the simple guy.
I lead the pack.
I mean, his business named after being simple.
My business is Real Simple Fish Ventures. I am the president of the Real Simple Club. So, some comments. Manuel says, Mogi live bait using long shank hook and 30-pound mono. Can't go wrong with that. That's my charter recipe right there. Sometimes I roll it up to 4-pound mono. No need to waste your time. Put fluorocarbon on with April. That's just going to be a little more expense to. The gator spoons, never used them, but if they flash in the water, got to be good. And we'll answer CJ. They're out there, bud. They're out there. I promise. We've been bloody in the cooler with them. So, but anyway. There's certain things that you're probably going to want to do.
We're good.
Keep going. Not want to. I mean, you're going to want to use a long hook. You can't catch them on. We use circle hooks. Not that you can't catch them on a circle hook, but you're going to get cut more. So a long shank hook is just going to save some money. If you're going to use artificials, get yourself leader line. Steel leader line. You can use this with a long shank hook, but you're not going to get nowhere near as many bites. I'm going to say you'll get one.
Cleared. All right, coming back.
All right.
Welcome back.
We're back.
Sorry, guys.
Hey.
I'm just going to roll to this. I got one little step on this process. I'm trying to run the show full. There's one little step that I'm missing.
And he didn't tell me he was missing it.
Because
I'm just chatterboxing away.
There's two screens there. And the preview, you should be able to bring that over. And Travis, if you're listening, comment on doing wrong.
Man.
Well, when you go clear, it's clearing the live screen. But
hey, baby.
If that's the worst one we have today,
we had a good day.
We'll run the second commercial.
Hey.
We might have a little blackout for like 5 seconds.
Hey, it's all good.
But we're gonna
I don't know what y'all heard what I was saying, but I know that we kind of went down in that conversation. I was done anyway, so let her in.
Let's talk a little bit about
talk about your reddish.
Yeah, so we had the Florida Pro, and I tell you, this is the first year I fished it. The numbers were way down. They only had like 38 boats. And first off, I want to say this: it's rare that you hear other captains, but I've always been a guy that congratulates somebody, even if they beat me. And I tell you what, T. Stewart is one of the best, and the dude put off back-to-back in the Florida Pro.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty. I don't know if I've never seen that or witnessed that, and
good.
That's beyond pretty good. Let's be real. And congratulations, TJ. He pulled off another win. He won the first leg and won the second one. But we fished the Florida Pro, and tournaments are a chess. And you got a game plan, and sometimes it's kind of like chartering, but a little different because you don't have, there's a little room for error with chartering because using bait, and with a tournament you're artificials and kind of time constraint. You can't chum. So they're kind of the same but different. Anyways, we fit the Florida Pro this week and had a game plan, and our game plan was to go to St. Pete, run the Palmasola, fit some stuff that you had tipped me on last tournament, and then make our way back to Ruskin. It's funny, this tournament out of Ruskin, and very fish are getting caught out of Ruskin redfish.
Yeah,
it's not
a whole lot now.
And I mean, I'm running St. Pete and Palmasola, and I fish there every day. I'm not that there's not redfish there, but there is not. it's tough. It's tough pickings. I don't think we've got our good numbers there this year yet, but stuck to the plan pretty good. The guys next to us ended up taking fourth. There was winning fish that definitely would beat first place weight. Had a lot of obstacles. Kite surfers.
You had a little trouble with the guy from Jay-Z.
Yeah, the Jay-Z guy. But it was a good time. I had a goal in my head that I was kind of bullheaded. I was like, I could pull off a back-to-back. That would be something. And it didn't work out. I was real hard on myself for not pulling out. I was set on it. And we actually had some good spots to go fish. But a commercial guy come by and he said, man, there's about – a few years ago he said, there's about 600 fish on that island over there. And we got to talk to a nice guy, and he goes, yeah, but you know they got tails and they swim.
That's fact.
I see him next day, and he goes, you find them fish? I said, man, it wasn't there. He goes, yeah, they got tails and they swim. And I thought, nothing more true than that, especially redfish, man. But it was a good event. I take Ken done a good job with that. A hard time with getting boats this tournament, but so that was there was a tournament down in up north, Crystal River. There's another one down in Garcia area.
Who's the major sponsors of that?
Oh, put me on the spot. Blazer Bay, Power Pole, I think, is a major player. Blazer Bay is because they're giving away a Blazer Bay at the championship in Panama City. I'm sure his clothing line. There's quite a few. He guaranteed 10 grand. He paid out, and now fourth place was probably the worst payout I've seen, but it's because he had to rob Peter to pay Paul, right. and he lived up with 30 boats at $10,000 payout, which is pretty
good.
Yeah. So of course the other pieces are going to suffer, but it was fun. You know, the redfish thing for me is hopefully guys were back on. That was my fault. I have a little glitch on this, but that's okay. We're going to run the deal. But it was fun. You know, tournament fishing, you know, I've lost way more than I've ever won, no matter what I've done in fishing. And that's just part of the game. But it was fun. I do want to share something with y'all, and I have to say my partner, Brian, ordered these. I'm a big E-Man guy. I think they have a great product. And they've got, I don't even know if I get this open. I'm going to get it open because that's the only way. So a lot of stuff, especially right now with the sour, you got a lot of snodgrass right now. Snodgrass is a huge issue. These are what they call the snake locks. And Z-Man sells these, and they are pretty cool. They got the weight. This is a quarter ounce built in there, but you slide the bait on. I don't know if you can see.
I'm going to create it up there.
Yeah. You slide that bait on, and it slides on this little slot, and it's weighted, so where it stays on the slot, and you basically hook it weedless. The cool thing about that is the bait never slides really back down. So a lot of your previous setups, they either have a screw-on type swivel, and the problem with the screw-on things, it's hard to get the bait screwed on there. Once you do, you're pretty good. These work really good for weedless setups. They're called snake locks. And we've been using, he turned me on to these, and they've been awesome.
Sharp, too.
Yeah, sharp hooks, really good product. Mix them with your, and if Ken's watching, I know he'll like these. This is what I've been on a ton of in the tournaments. It's real good. These are wide. I've been using the Houdini color, but the Paddler Z's, Z-Man Paddler Z's, and all this stuff's stock at Tampa Fishing Outfitters. They're a huge Z-Man dealer, but and for guys that don't use Z-Man, there's a lot of artificial out there. There's not a lot of artificials you can do this with, and it doesn't break.
That's just true.
So, the only thing I've ever seen cut these is pufferfish, and pufferfish will cut anything. But you can see how long that is. It's got a real good paddle tail on it, which gives you a lot of vibration, and they've also got the weedless pocket right here to put that hook in. So you can do them with a regular ounce jig head, or you can do it without. So it's a great product. Got all kinds of different assortment and colors, and they're just a good company. I like Z-Man. Of course, Gulp stuff works. The DOA, I know Travis is a fan of the DOA, but I haven't seen anything outlast
331.
31. He tells me basic. So if you guys are throwing artificial, and I tell you, we had a tough turn. We didn't even catch a lot of fish, and it was. At the end, I made a couple bad calls. We did find a small school of fish on the South Shore, and they were in the sand pockets.
Yeah, but it could have been a good call.
Could have been. Well, what happened was we got stuck in tide in St. Pete, and I was hoping to catch the last of the incoming in Ruston. That didn't work out, so I ended up fishing 2 hours of like kind of stuck in slack water. And when I really stayed south and fished the outgoing, I think that would have been way more productive. But that's tournament fishing. You make that, it's that game of chess, and then you make the call.
Well, and also, in any kind of fishing, a lot of times other people decide your fate as far as where you're going to fish. And that's with tournament fishing, any kind of fishing. If you're not the first one there, you're going to fish somewhere else.
Yeah.
So you got to have a backup plan.
Yeah, we ended up running the 26 Pathfinder, and it was snotty. And I tell you what, man, that boat is impressive. We ran 50. It's not Speed Demon. Well, I mean, I ran 50. We were running 55 with a tower, full tank of fuel. But I had that thing pinned. I didn't let off the whole way to the sky. Past my buddy Brian. He got about halfway, and he had to let off a little bit, and I just let her eat.
So you guys were fishing on different teams this time.
Yes, so the partner, and that's he fishes with his cousin before I actually decided to fish, because this is the first year I fished a pro. So we actually fished against each other, but we kind of.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is, but we worked together on pre-fishing a little bit, because he knows where I fish, I know where he fishes. So like, hey, finish first and second, so be it, you know. So we worked together on pre-fishing. We were running the same areas. We kind of went at different times. And
how did they do?
Same thing, man. Our plans did not coincide. We should have stayed spot A, and we would have been in the top 5. There were fish that were caught there. Another boat that did, and it was good, and it was the same spot that we fished that we won. So
I can't get the same clothes.
it was tough. Yeah. It was that's tournament fishing. You know, like I said, we win, we lose. One product I did grab the shelf over at Tampa Fishing Outfitters, guys. The water's starting to dirty up on the flats. It's not so clear in all spots. Some due to wind. We got a little bit of rain too, so we're starting to get in that late spring pattern with the water clarity. The popping corks, Cajun Thunder back bays are money. I can't see how good these are for me. They have been, especially with the snot grass on the south end of South Shore. We've had a lot of snot grass. And throwing free line at snot grass is next to impossible, because the bait wants to swim into it and you all over the line. So these back bays, they got the Cajun Thunders, which work, but these back bays in particular, I like them a little better because the design of the cork, you get a little bit better popping action. With the round ones, you got to really, you know, customers that aren't real good at popping, these ones pop a little easier. So this is another good product that'll help you.
Get a little water splash with that too.
Yes. Yeah. I'm telling you, these back bays are way better than the regular ones. They came out with them a few years ago, and I called Bilbert and I said, man, these things they're it, man. I like them. And it's just, 'cause I used to use these, and you know, customers, it's like working artificial with the round ones. You really got to pop them aside. These things here, you can actually pull up, get a popping action. So they work real good. There's some alternative products out there.
What's Bill's name? Bill Hall?
Bill Hall. Bill Hall's been building these for years. And I tell you what, this mixed with, where's that bag of artificials? This and this here in Louisiana, son, I beat that popping cork so bad the feed was shoved about halfway up and I smoked the fish. I mean, them things love, and I ain't caught one here. Now you'll catch trout, but our redfish graduated here. They're in college. They're almost they're scholars.
They're scholars.
You know, Louisiana, they're still elementary. They're eating every pops in front of them. So, long story short, popping corks or floats, should I say, are a good option for what we do, especially that water dirty. In the early spring, I don't have as much luck with them. I think the water's just too clear. I mean, they work, but I think they can see them a little better. I think when the water dirties up, now you're getting that splash effect. You know, wow, it's a fish. They think it's a fish on the surface. You know, get that fish on the surface, and they see the bait going nuts underneath the cork. Back and the water's gin clear. They see this popping cork pop.
Right.
Then they see the bait, they go, "Oh, something's wrong with that." So I'm a true believer. Manual on the floats, man, I gonna laugh at this. I like to use the pink one because I usually give it to the woman on the boat, and then I say, "Here, I'm gonna give this little pink cork over here," and then she kicks her husband's butt, and I say, "She's beat with a pink cork." But as far as colors on a serious note, I don't know if it matters.
I don't think it does.
I mean, because I've used all colors. I don't look at my floats. I want that one. I actually like pink ones because it makes for a good joke on the boat. The funny thing I'll tell you about floats is there's a lot of guys that I ain't using no float. And I look at them, I said, okay, and about snuck into it. I said, you ready to get that little gray float on there?
Yeah, no doubt.
And I let them roll with it. I let them try to use their manhood about halfway through the trip.
I like using floats. First of all, when I fish, I think it's kind of relaxing. You don't have to concentrate quite hard.
Well, on snook, if you don't hit them right off, they spit it. They feel that tension. You pull that cork under. But yeah, my joke on the boat is they keep missing fish from not watching the boat. I said, all right, I'm gonna have to dig that shock collar out of here. And they look at me and I said, you got to watch that floater. You're going to, especially redfish or trout are a little more forgiving, but man, for me, like when that goes under, you got to be on the reel. But yeah, it's a little dear. It was the one lady on my boat one time, and a strike indicator.
Strike indicator.
And she said that. I said, a what? She said a strike indicator, and she was dead serious. And I said,
she must have been a fly fisherman.
I don't think she was a fisherman at all. They caught the heck out of fish, and she called it a strike indicator. It was so funny. The next year, she called the book with me. She goes, I'm the lady called it a strike indicator. I said, oh, I remember you.
Yeah, I've had fly fishermen on the boat call it that before.
Man, I've caught fish in all colors. I just grab whatever's sitting in my drawer in my boat and use it. I don't know, man. Colors matter on artificials to me, I like a natural. For artificial, I like natural colors. I don't pick up something neon, looks like a push pop, and on trout, yeah, but on redfish, and I don't see a.
But he may be right. It's not something I've ever really paid attention to.
Right, I've caught all of them, but I never.
So if you got
bites off, I just put the float down.
Yelling out there, I'm not. It's just not to go, okay, well, you caught 5 on the yellow one and you caught 1 on the orange one.
Right.
Let's see what happens tomorrow or what. I don't know. It's just not something. Pink in October, I like that. It's not something that I've ever really paid attention to, and probably most people don't, but there might be something to it. Who knows? You need to start paying attention.
I do. I mean, it works or it don't for me. Whatever I got, whatever's on that rod is what's getting used.
You got different colors?
Yeah.
Well, then, make a log.
Log on corks?
Yes.
You're getting pretty technical now.
Research,
they're real simple.
Do some research.
That's a good point. I don't know. Hey, I'll try anything once. Most anything.
Yes.
But so I don't know. That's just something good. I seen it on the shelf. We were looking through the shop before we went on the air and said, let me put one of these. I know we talked about them before, but there's quite a bit of stuff that that sometimes people miss. How long a leader? I'd say 2 to 3 feet, somewhere in there. Kind of depends on your water depth, but I don't go crazy long because I have a hard time getting people to cast it if it's too long.
And that's not something that I think most people really pay. Obviously,
you don't want it 12 inches
or super long would be obvious, but probably not something that's really paid attention to with great detail. 3 feet, and because half the time when you're popping those corks, you're bringing that bait. He's down here and you're popping it, and he's coming up. Because when you're pulling him, he's not going to stay down. And then the fishers got these swimming around. So I think the feet's 30 inches is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean a lot of times mine are 2. It depends on depth. If you're doing trout fishing 5-6 foot water, a little bit longer is probably better.
That's a good point. What Manuel just said.
Think green and yellow match the mangrove. That's this. That's
not bad. That's not bad.
But what
right
about
there.
when the leaves are oranges? because they do kind of oranges.
Yeah, not as much.
Hey, if it works for you catching fish, roll with it. That's what I tell people. But yeah, it depends on, try different stuff. If bite's not happening, throw some stuff at the wall. That's what I do. I know that's what you do. You can't keep doing something.
See what sticks.
Can't keep doing something that doesn't work. Well, guys, I'm going to try to run another break here. If we get blacked out, we'll come back on. So the Tampa Fishing Outfitters
Live.
We'll be right back. Hope this comes back. It's not coming back. Fuck. I don't know what to do. Why?
Can anybody hear us?
Oh, here we go. Coming back.
Can anybody hear us?
I had a few buttons. I still don't know what's going on, but we're there. Just give me 10 cents. I got 10. We got blackout. We got a little. We have a couple blackouts.
Watching Jay control that, and I can't say anything because if it was left to me, we would have never even got on in the first place. But watching you do this makes me think of what it was like on the Apollo 13. They had the issues in outer space.
But they're in outer space.
Well, they was probably thinking they're not coming back, and the panic that they went through.
I just had panic.
I saw it.
It all went away. I'm like, where'd it go? And
I witnessed it.
And I don't even. Well, all Travis what he told me to do is not happening. It's like there's one little spot here that's something's wrong. But
Andrew Rollins,
we got
my buddy.
We got this thing rolling. We're doing better last week. So hey. Even if it's a little improvement, you want to improve every week. I'm going to run this show until it. I mean, I've got this getting set up. Everything's right there. So we're Rick, this is something I want to talk about. It's a big issue in our guide business. I've seen it this week, and it's really hitting my nerve. And it goes beyond us because we got our inner stuff sometimes. We get off at a tangent. But this actually affects the end user. And I feel like that we can use maybe these channels to educate people.
Let's do it.
To better.
You're blindsiding me because I have no idea what you're fixing to say. But
our business is taking a turn for the bad in a certain for the end user, not for guides. It's not good for our business, and it's all not good for the end user. And for whatever reason, corporate companies decided they want to get in the guide referral business, running a referral site to refer to other guides. And I've seen this, and I talked to I'm not even going to name him, but we know real well, had a real similar issue with this company. And I'm not going to mention the company. You just read between the lines. It's a big company that is basically a referral service. You book through, they're running mass internet marketing and other marketing, and you basically book your trip. You pick your captain based on the bogus reviews they have, and you pay them, and they get a hold of the captain, and the captain will call you, arrange. It seems like a good system. But in our business, I can promise you there's almost 30 years experience between the both of us of guiding. It is not a good third-party company.
Yeah, this is something that we does not affect somebody that has their boat and goes fishing on their own. This is for people that
are looking to hire a guide, which there's a lot of people that want to book a guide. And the best thing I could tell you, there was a certain aspect where they were looking for a certain guide and typed whatever on the internet, found the referral service which the guide was on. So they booked day they want it
and
through the referral service.
And he's going to give a big chunk of that away.
So now, here's the inside, Iggy, which this isn't even the point, is that referral service, basically, when you pay them, they take a chunk out of what they pay the captain, which, whatever.
Ken's net 30% for nothing.
Yeah. So here's what happened. They want a specific date. They found the booking service instead of Captain Direct, which it was his repeat customer. And through this, they booked through the service. And they said, oh, you're good to go for Sunday, blah, blah, blah. So the customer thinks, okay, I got the guy I want. I've got the day booked.
Yeah.
Well, a day or so or whatever went by, and they got a hold of the direct captain. Well, guess what? That direct captain is booked. And they were specifically looking for that direct captain. And so now the end user thinks he's going with a captain. What he was looking for, that captain direct, just happened to run across the third-party referral site, which in return is stealing repeat business from the guy.
Sure.
And now he can't even go with that guy. So,
well, and also, I've never been a part of one of those. I never will be a part of one of those. The most reputable, established, full-time guide are not going to be a part of that. They have a business that's successful. They have their clientele built up. I'm not taking that much money less to fishing. You know, I'm barely keeping my head afloat now. I mean, I don't.
It's hard to charge the right rate to make a living.
So
I
don't know. I'm.
Well, my point,
like you told me on another situation one time, we're self-employed for a reason.
Yeah.
And
my point being that, Rick, it's not that, hey, you guys to figure out what it costs for us to make a living, because honestly, the consumer could care less. I mean,
right.
Maybe they do care, but most don't.
He's just
looking
to get what he feels like or she feels like his money worth.
My point being is that when you go through a referral service, be prepared not to know exactly what you're going to get, and don't believe the reviews on sites or for any website. It's a good tool to use, but I can promise you reviews and stuff online are about half bogus.
Mm-hmm.
My recommendation, if you're looking for a captain, do some research. Don't go through a booking site. And I know that the booking sites are convenient because they have a calendar. They have, book right now, you'll be good to go. You're not good to go. You're less good to go with that particular captain than as if you called and left him a message and waited for him to call you back at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I know it takes a little more patience dealing direct with a captain, because if we're on the water, if we don't call you back, we're on the water, was a good thing. If we call you right back, sometimes
I want to fish with a guy that's on the water.
Yeah, you want to fish with a guy that might be able to call you back. And I try to answer my phone and on the boat, but to be careful with that because you have paying customers. But take the time, do some research, and just call the guy direct. Do a little more research. Online is very popular now. It's an easy way to find people. And call that guy direct, especially if you have a guy in mind that you already want to use. Because what happens is, just like this situation, you're not going to end up going with that guy because he's already booked. And now you don't know who you're going with. And the other thing that you can do not be afraid to ask, and this could save your life. You're more okay who you're going with. Ask these guys for a license and ask them for insurance, because it's a big topic. And I've never once in 14 years had somebody ask me for a license for insurance or a number.
No, you can answer to Matt there. You're up on this more than me. Ken nailed it. Facebook will give better advice, but what Matt said there, for a startup captain or company, it doesn't hurt to have a booking agency help.
Matt, let me tell you something. It's not help, brother. Because what happens is you might get a few trips in the beginning, but if you're paying 30% on a $400 trip, trust me when I tell you this, it's going to be tough to make a living if you got quality equipment, because it's tough to make a living at the right amount, and that's a whole other thing. It's get where you get some trips out of it, but you're bidding against guys. It's a bidding war on the back where the customers don't care about. It's a bidding war. They're taking the guy that's going to pay them most percentage, and they're going to give that to them. Not unless you request somebody in particular, but in this instance, they're not going to get that guy. So people have made it in this business before all this crap started, and it's a little bit more work, and you might have a bit more of a learning curve. But what happens, Matt, is it's more than 15 on, depends on who you are. Depends on when you get established, if you're a captain, I'm not sure of the details, and you start getting trips, guess what? They search Captain, I was going to say Captain Matt, and the referral website pops up before because they have way more money to spend on marketing. Now you're paying them for your trip. And that's what's going to happen. That has happened, guaranteed. And they're not going to say, oh, you've been with him before, go ahead and call him direct. No, they're going to take their money because they're out marketing you. They have and that's the way it is. But I don't care about the guide stuff because, I do, but it's on this show, it's not really what it's geared for. But I think the end user gets affected by this. And
I am totally really ignorant on this. I understand the concept and all that.
Well, it's like you go into the garage shop and you use some.
I just don't. It's nothing I'd ever be interested in because I don't think that. First of all, you're probably dealing with people you don't even know. So I don't know. I just rather keep mine more personal. That's just me. I don't know Matt. I don't know his situation. I don't really know much about that.
I've heard more horror stories than good. I can promise you that. And it just hits me hard because we're all small businesses, and we have to be careful. We have to be careful so we can stay afloat. And it's just for the end user bad because they think they're getting a product that a lot of times they're not. And they end up, oh, I'll just take the next best guy. Well, it's just a bad situation when you think you're getting something you're not. And I know that some of the guys, hey, they might be getting you some business, but it'll hurt you in the long run. It really does. And it is what it is. But I think the user definitely suffers from it. I think you don't get the quality. There's a lot more qualified captains out there that'll take you. And I think too, when you book a trip,
he just responded to you. Go ahead.
I tell you what, I think when you go to book a trip, I think you need to talk to the captain before. Like I've toyed with online books with me, and I'm just like, I don't know, because like Rick, you know what you're dealing with before you get on the boat, right? Don't you? Sure. I think the customer should know what they're dealing with because there's all types of captains. We know them, and you're gonna get one extreme to the other on what's available out there. So, no, man, I'm not big on them. I don't think it's good for the end user. I don't think it's for our industry, to be honest with you.
Well,
I think it does nothing but fatten the pots of the people who referral sites.
I would agree with that. When I go on vacation, I try to book a trip wherever I'm going, and there's no way that I'm just going to call somebody.
Well, you're a little more educated on the business too.
I want to know what I'm dealing with.
Well, and I'm really mentioning this too because I know the next generation, which is the millennials, they're a lot more technical through the phone, text. The talking is less. Talking on a phone is less with the next round of people. But trust me when I tell you, when you book a charter, direct with the captain, know what you're dealing with. If you're bringing your kids, you want to make sure these guys are legit. I'm not saying the referral site supposedly gets their license, they got all their credentials, so that's not even part of that. But you still want to talk to the captain, know if this guy is good with kids, know if he's there's some great fishermen that I don't know if I want to take my daughter.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, they're good at catching fish, but you start yelling at my 8-year-old daughter, and I want a charter, and I'm paying, we're gonna have problems. And I know you're the same way. And there's just some guys that are good with certain groups. You want to make sure that that's going to fit the criteria of your trip to have a good trip. You want to catch fish, but you also want a good time. You want to be on the same playing field. Some guys don't allow liquor. Some guys don't beer. Some guys tell you can't keep anything. This is true stories. I've heard it. And
no, that's facts.
And if you think you want to go keep a few mackerel and the guy goes, we're not keeping anything, there's extremists keeping fish. Well, you go with him because you're not going to get what you want out of the trip. So, long story short, I brought it up because I just feel the end user ends up losing more than winning from convenience and booking referral sites. And they probably don't like it, but I really don't care at this point. That's how I feel about it. And
well, I understand you, but I don't think this is broke, and I don't think you're being a genius in creating anything new. It's not time for people to evolve. I think you're just putting your hand in somebody's pocket that don't need your hand. Just to be perfectly frank with you.
And I'll tell you, a lot of times we do this. Like I get a lot of overflow at times, and I say, hey, man, I'm booked. Let me make a few calls. I get on the phone and call guys that I think will do a good job. Sure. I trust, that I know are insured, that I got copies of the license and insurance. So a lot of times guys find you somebody. You're not just hung out to dry. They want to return some favors. It's like a small network of guys that we just kind of take care of each other to keep everybody busy.
And you're not greeting your customers. You're greeting Captain's customers, taking whatever % off. Yeah, you need to find another choir to preach at, boss.
Rick, we're getting you on your side.
Yeah, nah, this is I seen the light.
Yeah, but hey, that's the way I feel about it. And it was not more about our side of the business. I thought I should share. This was actually happened. It actually happened, and I can tell you the captain, and we know the captain good, was pretty furious. And the particular company isn't even an American company; they ain't even here.
Right.
So I don't even, honestly, referral sites come go, and I don't even know how they make it based on even 20 or 30% with marketing. But I don't know, these guys are sticking around. But he was pretty mad because he knew it was his customer. Some people, they get online or they search for your website and they just type in the wrong thing. Maybe they're not real, good online, but they want to book you and they go to the wrong site. That's partly their fault, but I don't want to take that chance. Yeah. I want to run my business the way I want to run, and I'd rather keep it in-house, and I think it's better for the end user. Off my soapbox with that. Rick, how much time we got?
We got 3 minutes.
About 3 minutes. Wait, let's go. We haven't been doing our next week forecast.
Next week forecast.
What is next week's forecast? Hopefully not windy.
I don't know. I can look and tell you what the weather says. We do, and Travis and I actually talked about this.
It's about fishing forecast.
Yeah, I know, but we need to get. Travis and I talked about this the other day. We need to get back to doing some weather.
Well, Danny don't do the show anymore, so he was a weatherman.
It was a hobby.
I mean, it was a hobby.
But we got good weather this week.
Yeah, I think the weather's it's going to slowly get better. I think we're getting there. I think it's going to be. I think our snook fishing is going to continue to. Snook fishing's been really good this year. And I hope our redfish gets better. Our trout fishing has taken a turn for the better this year for me. It's still been not as good as I used to be, but it's been better than I anticipated. Some nice trout being caught. I know Travis fished this past week has done really good on trout. And, snook fishing's been good. Redfish is, you can look at good judges. Go look at the weigh-ins at tournaments, and they're not. You don't see the weights on fish, or not even the number of fish caught. But we're still.
You guys have been throwing some big weight.
We did, but it was kind of a prize.
16 pounds 10 years ago when I was kind of playing the game a little bit. That was big.
Well, I'll talk about the amount of fish caught, the number of teams that weigh fish. It seems like down.
I know back then 15 pounds would have been.
Yeah, I was happy to say we threw some weight up.
Did.
And I was still kind of worried about it. And then after the fact, everybody's like, man, you're good. I'm like, I ain't good. They say I'm good. But, we threw some stuff up. But, I don't know, just like the number of redfish brought in just seems a little all over the place. And honestly, Travis has said this. I don't know if it's, and we're about out of time.
I don't know. We got 50 seconds.
I don't know if it's from the number of fish, or maybe fish are just changing. They might be out on them wrecks.
Yeah,
I think we need to go on them wrecks and sit out there for about 2 days and figure them out. They're probably sitting up there. There's like 300 of them just tailing on the wrecks.
I ain't changing.
I ain't changing. Too old.
I'm too old for change. Anyway, hey, if you want to go fish with my man,
yep. I don't.
They to book right through you.
Yeah, they can. I'm not the referral service. Really don't. I'm the referral service. I'll refer them when it's actually open. And I'll say, Rick, are you open? It's
Yes.
like the calendar.
And it works.
And millennials, I know y'all want to just text and do it online, but just
God.
call us, man.
Yeah.
Just call us. Kick your 70s rock on for like 10 minutes and make that phone call. It'll happen.
All right.
It'll happen. Well, guys, you can get a hold of me at 813-727-9890, or my business name is steadyactionfishcharters.com.
Call, make him take you fishing.
Rick.
I'm 1-601-2900. Can't reach me online because I ain't there.
Hey,
And
this guy is not on referral sites. I can. He's not even on a site.
I'm on no site.
Well, guys, it's been a great show. Sorry for the hiccups, but better than last week. I think Travis will be back in the house next week, so we'll get it done. Until next week. Tight lines.
Ow.